Hello, I would like to welcome everybody to today's webinar, during which we would like to present the benefits of ultrasonic atomization methods together with our partner Analytic from UK, who is our official partner. And after the live demo session, which was planned for today, together with our partner, we will start answering all questions. This is the agenda for today's meeting. I would like to start from the short introduction about our company. Then I would like to show all our machines, our capabilities, and principal advantages. Then, as I mentioned, after my session, we will switch to our R&D department, which is quite unusual for such webinars. And we would like to demonstrate to all of you the main devices like our ATO Lab atomiser, our sieving station, or our casting vacuum furnace. And as I mentioned, then we can start the Q&A session. For today, we plan to explain you the main benefits behind our portfolio. But before I will start, I would like to introduce a little bit more information about our company. 3D Lab is a company which is located in Warsaw, the capital of Poland, very close to the airport. That's why anytime our customers want to check our technology next to the machine, want to talk with our R&D department, this is a great occasion to visit us and check all our advantages by person together with us. Right now, I would like to explain what actually led us to develop this technology. And it's very important to mention about the context behind our devices. You need to know that our company was founded in 2007. Then 1 year later, we became a 3D systems reseller. A few years later, we signed a very similar agreement with a Coherent company. Right now, in the name of the 2-1 Lab company, this is a manufacturer of the small 3D metal printer. We are an official reseller of this company as well. But in this period of time, we found out that there is a niche for small and compact atomizer. But there is a question, why? Because many of our customers who bought from us small 3D metal printers started asking us for non-standard materials, non-standard composition. And later during this presentation, you will see how important it was to develop our technology. We started investigation on this technology in 2017. Then 1 year later, in 2018, we signed a agreement with investors, which led us to the first delivery of our machine, first generation, in 2019. Nowadays, we have on the market more than 90 machines worldwide. And right now, I would like to mention about those bottlenecks in additive manufacturing industry, which led us to develop this technology. Most of them are strictly connected with the limitation of gas atomizers, like limited list of materials, huge price of those solutions, high operating cost, and very, very slow material change process. Many times we are speaking with our customers about their experiences with bigger machines, with bigger atomizers, and we found out that every time they need to change the material from, for example, from reactive to non-reactive, they need to spend days or weeks to change the material without cross-contamination, which is crucial in this process. That's why, in comparison to classic standard gas atomization process, we were guided by the idea to develop much more compact device, which allows them to react much more quicker, to develop maybe some new alloys much more quicker, and to swap between one material to another, not within a days, but within an hours. And we believe we achieved 3 major goals by creating laboratory size equipment to speed up new material development. But I believe for most, this is very affordable solution for sure incomparable with classic gas atomizers. I would like to start from short presentation of our main device, which is called ATO Lab Plus. This machine can work both with reactive and non-reactive materials, and it's capable to work with two types of the heat source. First, it's a thick or plasma, depends from the customer needs. Please imagine the situation that you would like to work with refractory alloys, high melting point, like for example, niobium or tungsten. It seems to be obvious that the plasma heat source would be the better choice. Nevertheless, we are giving our customers a free choice to choose between one heat source or another. Also, it's worth to mention that all our customers can upgrade their machine after some time. What is also very important, the temperature. I, of course, already mentioned about the temperature up to 3,400 degrees. We already tested more than 350 different materials, both reactive and non-reactive. And we can also change the particle size distribution, depends on the customer needs, but this point I will explain later. What is also worth to mention that we created the special dedicated machine just for precious materials. The technology is the same, but the filtration system was completely redesigned to allow all our customers to recover the material even from the filtration system. In that case, we can minimize the losses of the material, which can be very expensive, like gold or platinum. Most of those customers are buying our ATO Noble for jewelry production because they can combine ATO Noble with classic LPBF printer or another technology, depends on the PSD, as I mentioned, and they can produce their own powder and print the parts at the same time. Right now, I would like to show you an example of a very nice report of atomized gold with 35 kilohertz system with our induction melting system, which I will describe later. With our ultrasonic atomization technology, we can create perfectly spherical metal powder with the particle size distribution depends on the customer needs, which I will explain later. At the same time, using this occasion, I would like to show you also another report. This is a report after atomization process with our induction melting system of copper. In that case, we can also achieve great results, especially with induction melting system when the atomization process is fast, very user-friendly for the operator, and we can also achieve the particle size distribution depends on the customer needs. Let's back to my presentation. Okay. Right now, I would like to explain the basic principles behind our technology. Both for ATO Lab Plus and ATO Noble, the basics are the same. As you can see, the machine is relatively compact. My favorite comparison is a comparison to the classic refrigerator. Maybe our machine is a little bit deeper, but in case of the width, it's more or less the same like the classic refrigerator. It is equipped with a control panel which allows all our operators with an up straight position to control the machine in a very, very user-friendly way. Right now, you can see a process chamber. On the left-hand side, you can see a feeding system. In this case, this is the wire feeding system, but we can also swap to another modules. Melting tip, this is the place where atomization is happen, and TIG is our heat source. It can be also a plasma arc. Sonotrode or atomization platform is connected with the heart of our device with an ultrasonic generator. It means at certain amplitude with certain frequency, we can eject a perfectly spherical metal powder from the molten metal. And thanks to the argon gas, we can entrain, we can move all particles through the chamber, through the cyclone, directly to the collecting container. it's worth to mention that the filtration system was specially designed with the German manufacturer, and those are not a standard HEPA filters which you need to replace after each process. In our case, you don't need to change filtration system at all. We are using a special procedures which can extend a lifetime of the filtration system with a special tank with an argon gas. We can blow off all contamination from the filtration system, and we can start another process without changing the filtration system. And of course, with the control panel, you can collect all data and you can save all parameters. What is really important about our technology is the quality of the powder and how easy it is to create our powder. Right now on the screen, you can see very simplified scheme how our technology works. On the left video, you can see the atomization process from the wire. From the operator perspective, this is very convenient way because the process can be almost fully automatic. Please imagine the situation that you can fix all parameters on the control panel, like the feeding speed and automatic torch movement, like you can see on the screen right now, and you can go to another room. With dedicated additional tablet, you can also control the atomization process from completely different location. But as I mentioned on the beginning, a wire feeding system, it's not only the way of atomization process. On the left-hand side, the wire feeding system, this is the basic solution. But you can also equip your machine with a single rod feeding system, which is ideal for example, R&D purposes, because you don't need to work with perfectly straight rods. You can work with even bend rod and put to the system. And after short atomization process, you can swap to another rod. Or maybe you have a solution to cast a rod. So you can pre-alloy your material, use single rod feeding system and check the composition and maybe check a behavior of the powder in a small 3D metal printer. But from the historical point of view, for all those customers who started asking us for better efficiency, we developed revolver and multi-rod feeding system. In both options, you can feed up to 10 rods at one time with maximum diameter up to 10 millimeter and the maximum amount of rods up to 10. Or, this is very important, or one long rod up to 1 meter 20 centimeter. The last option is a custom feeding system. Please imagine the situation that you have a laboratory with our machine, but in some time you do not have an access to the wire. You do not have an access to the rod, but maybe you have an access to strange shape input material with very strange cross section, okay? In that case, you can use a custom feeding system, which allows you to work with almost with any shape of the input material. As I mentioned at the beginning, and I'm repeating this sentence many times, you can change the particle size distribution, depends on your needs. Please imagine the situation that a few years ago, we had only one option, and that was this option, okay? I hope you can see my mouse right now. Because the basic machine is equipped with 35 kilohertz ultrasonic generator. But from the historical point of view, many customers started asking us for different particle size distribution. Some of them working with DED technology, some of them working with binder jetting technology, or another group of our customers working with cold spraying technology. For all those activities, you need to change the particle size distribution. With our setup, you can do this because nowadays we have 4 different options. The general rule is as follows. The higher the frequency, the smaller particles. The lower the frequency, the coarser powder. And you can see the proof on the graph. The basic scenario, 35 kilohertz, giving you an option to produce the biggest amount of the powder between 40 to 50 microns. If we change the particle size distribution, if you would like to change the particle size distribution to the smaller ones, you need to upgrade your system to higher or ultra high frequency system. In both cases, your particle size distribution will change by around 15 to 20%. For another group, we developed also lower frequency system. It means 20 kilohertz. In that case, you can switch your particle size distribution to the right, allowing you to work with technologies like DED or EBM or cold spraying technology. But in my opinion, the biggest game changer is our induction melting system, which I'm showing you with my mouse on the left. As you can see, this is an additional module which can be supplied to all of our customers whenever they want. Okay, it's a module which allows you to work with crucibles. It means you can feed the crucible with almost any shape of the input material. In that case, you can work with irregular shape feedstock like scraps, like bars, big bars, like some sheets of the metal sheets, like CNC scraps, like support structures after 3D printing process. Why we developed this machine? Why we developed this module? Because many of our customers started telling us that they do not have an access to the wire, they do not have an access to the rods, but they have an access to the irregular shape feedstock. With this machine, with this module, we are giving them an option to melt the material inside of the crucible and then release the material on the atomization platform. In that case, we can also speed up the atomization process. The efficiency is few times more comparing to the basic module. And the maximum melting point we can achieve nowadays in induction melting system, it's around 1,500, 1,600 degrees. This is also very, very interesting graph showing you the options you can achieve by using our induction melting system. On the left-hand side, you can see the standard way, which I already mentioned. So the crucible with an induction coil, you can put the material inside of the induction coil and you can melt the material. Once the material is fully melted inside of the crucible, you can release the material from the crucible onto atomization platform. And as you can see on the video, you can achieve a very nice atomization process. But please imagine the situation that maybe someday you would like to use our induction melting system, which is much more gentle for the material, when the risk of the evaporation is also slightly lower comparing to the basic module, because we are not using an open fire, you can feed your rod directly to the induction coil whenever you have a risk of the cross-contamination from the crucible. The great example is a titanium material. Okay? It's tricky to atomize titanium from the crucible because it would it should be a special crucible like boron nitride crucible, which can be very expensive. At the same time, if you have an access to the titanium rods, you can feed your rod directly to the induction coil, like the graph I'm showing right now. I would like to also show you a short video of atomization of 18 karat gold with our induction melting system, but please imagine that it could be copper, it can be aluminum or magnesium, lead, tin. Many different materials will behave the same. You can see on the screen all parameters right now thanks to the camera view installed on the top of the chamber. You can check the melting process inside of the crucible. Of course, we are using a thermocouple, so we can control the temperature And once the material is fully melted inside of the crucible, we can release the material from the crucible on the atomization platform, and then we can atomize whole material. As I mentioned, the efficiency of this process is also higher. Thanks to the induction melting system, we can achieve the loop you can see on the screen. So we can put scraps or irregular shape input material to induction melting system. We can create a powder. We can sieve the powder. We have also ultrasonic sieving station. We can use this powder, for example, in 3D printing technology, and then we can repeat the cycle. But at the same time, you can also imagine completely different scenario. As I mentioned, our induction melting system melting point is up to 1500, 1600 degree. What about all irregularly shaped input material which you cannot melt inside of our induction melting system? That's why we also developed ATO cast. This is our vacuum rod casting furnace. In that case, the melting point is up to 3000 degrees, and this is completely self-sufficient machine, which allows you to prepare the feedstock. So, in theory, you can put your scraps with very high melting points, because we already done it many times. You can cast your rods, and with your casted rods, you can go to your ATO Lab machine and you can prepare perfectly spherical metal powder. This machine is very compact, user-friendly. It also needs to use crucibles. We are using two types of the crucible, two sizes of the crucible, 75 cc or 150 cc, depends on the customer needs. We can also prepare a special mold for the customer, and by simple tilting of the crucible, we can prepare the feedstock. Thanks to the ATO cast, you can achieve this scenario. So in that case, without induction melting system, you can prepare the rods, you can atomize your rods in our ATO Lab machine, then the rest of the process is the same. You need to sieve the material and use the material in dedicated technology. Right now, I would like to focus on some comparison in terms of the powder quality and in terms of the sphericity. And this is a very good example. Our technology, which example you can see on the right, is different from the classic gas atomization technology. What is the biggest difference? We are not using any force to prepare perfectly spherical metal powder. In classic gas atomization technology, once the material is fully melted and it goes to the process chamber, high pressure gas nozzles are creating the powders. But you will see a lot of satellites. The powder is irregular. In our case, we are using only ultrasonic vibration on the top of the atomization platform. That's why we are not destroying the shape of the powder. Here you can see some examples after atomization process of copper, highness 282 or tantalum. And on this graph, you can also see, I will try to zoom this graph. You can also see the comparison of three different ultrasonic frequencies, like the 35 in the middle, 52 on the left side, and 20 kilohertz on the right side. It is also important to say that to change the particle size distribution, it's only 10 to 15 minutes for the ATO operator. Right now, I would like to tell a few words about our ATO sieve, which in our opinion, it's a very complementary solution in our portfolio. This ultrasonic sieving station is fully compatible with our ATO Lab containers. Give me a second, I will zoom. This container is the container from our ATO Lab device. It can be closed after atomization process, and it would mean your unsieved powder will be still under argon atmosphere. Then you can mount the container on the top of the sieving station, and you can sieve and you can choose whether you are working with reactive or with non-reactive material. In every case you would like to start sieving process with reactive materials, the system will automatically add an argon gas during the sieving process, and then you will have completely sieved powder under argon atmosphere. ATO Clean is our basic machine, I would say, for cleaning operations. With this machine, you can achieve very short time to clean the material between one material and another material without cross-contamination. You can imagine the situation that you would like to change 2-3 materials in one day, but you should avoid cross-contamination. In our case, in a very easy way, you can unmount most important parts like the process chamber, cyclone, collecting container, and put all those parts to the ultrasonic cleaning station at once, and you can finish your cleaning process within maximum 2 hours. Then you can start your process even if you are swapping from non-reactive to reactive materials without cross-contamination. You don't need to clean your machine with towels manually. You don't need to dive into the process chamber. No, you simply need to unmount the parts from the ATO Lab body, which is only 10 to 15 minutes, put the ultrasonic cleaning station, and after another 1.5 hours, you can start mounting the parts into ATO Lab atomizer. ATO Wipe is another unit which can help our customers to clean the input materials. We found out that many of our customers, before the purchasing decision, whenever they would like to test their application, they are sending us very dirty material which can affect the atomization process. With this device, we can do this much more quicker, much more effective. We are using mechanical brushes and ultrasonic bath, which can automatically clean our input material, both in a form of wire or rods. Some of our customers are choosing from us not only one machine, but they are buying from us a combo solution. In our case, this is our ATO and 3D metal printer. This is a convenient way for them because one supplier can deliver them 2 machines, one supplier can be responsible for the whole warranty. It's a win-win situation for both parties. This is also an example of big machine with a build volume capacity 275 per 275 per 400 millimeters. And at the same time, we also delivered our ATO. Still, this customer is using our ATO for 316L steel and Inconel, and they are printing from our powder. Few pictures of from some installation from Turkey, Italy, England, Poland. With most of our customers, we are in constant contact. Many of those customers are buying more modules from us because we understand their needs. All our upgrades, additional modules, we developed thanks to the discussions with our customers. Also, you can check a few examples of our trusted customers. And I would like to also mention that we are working not only to develop new modules, not only to increase the potential of our technology. We are taking care also about our patents. We are trying to secure our technology to be better for our customers. And that's all from my presentation. Right now, I would like to switch to our R&D department, and after the short presentation,